This is Heartland Focus with Tim Clark.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Heartland Focus. I just wanted to take the time, really, this past Thursday, we started back moving people to action. The People Are Rising, our town hall series, and it was sponsored in part by the 100 Black Men of Omaha. The focus was on mentoring, the importance of mentoring, and especially with young, what's happening with young people right now with the pandemic, social injustice, all types of just crazy stuff. They need adults, positive adults in their lives to help them navigate this thing called life. And so please, if you get a chance, check out the town hall meeting. You can find that on our website, www.mp2action.com. That's www.mp2action.com. Of course, you can find us on social media as well, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Moving People to Action. And January is National Mentoring Month. And, in terms of, so the challenge is this: if you thought about it in terms of just this whole ideal of becoming a mentor, I challenge you to explore that. At least get the information that you need that will help you make a good decision if you should do it or not. And there's a lot of different organizations, teammates, you have Boys and Girls Club, Girls Inc., I believe all of them have mentoring programs, but as far as the 100 Black Men of Omaha, you can go to our site and get more information about becoming a mentor. Hey, I want to bring on my guest, Willie Barney, facilitator, president, and CEO. He's got so many titles and hats, but what I like more in terms of Willie, facilitating the process of change. And so I appreciate you, man. Welcome to Heartland Focus.
Tim, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for this opportunity to come back on and speak with you about what's happening and how we continue to move forward together.
Right on. So, man, my time is short, so we gotta go in quick and deep, okay? And so, State of North Omaha is going to take place this morning, 9 a.m. this morning. Tell us really what's the hopes and what's the desire. The list is long. Give us a little high-level highlight of what you're hoping to accomplish with the state of North Omaha.
Tim, first of all, thanks again. This is 15 years, hard to believe, but this meeting is a summit. It's an update. It's quick-paced, lots of action, quite a few speakers, but from the city, county, state level, the neighborhood level, faith community, community-based agencies, small businesses. What is the state of North Omaha? We know that COVID has had a major impact on health and economics, but where are we right now? What are the strategies that are moving forward? What organizations are doing what? So we have speakers from the mayor's office, the state senators, county commissioners, pastors, neighborhood groups, all together to provide an update to the community. And then we'll use the technology via Zoom to be able to answer questions as we're moving forward. But it is from a measurable standpoint, where are we going? What are our collective goals? And how do we fund these efforts that we know need to be funded?
Yeah, that is really strong. And when you think about, and when you look at, summits, and I love that back end piece, because summits really kind of just refer to really that you come together, you agree to do something, and you get it done. When you think about what's in front of us right now, Willie, talk a little bit about what resonates with you in terms of just this enormous, gigantic opportunity that's in front of us as it relates to COVID relief funds, the ARPA funds. Man, talk to me. What's in front of us? I mean, this opportunity.
It's historic, Tim. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to maximize and make sure the resources that have been allocated by the Biden administration and approved by Congress to come into areas like North Omaha. When you look at the state of Nebraska, 25 qualified census tracts, which is the identification that's used by the Biden administration to make sure that these dollars are allocated and targeted to communities that have been hit by COVID-19, but also disproportionately impacted over years and decades regarding economics, entrepreneurship, employment, health, education. So these dollars are specifically identified to help address some of those gaps that we've been working on for years. We have polled, researched, asked questions of, surveyed over 8,000 people to develop the transformation plan. That transformation plan, many of those elements have now been incorporated into the proposal from Senators Justin Wayne and Senator Terrell McKinney at the state level. We're continuing to work with the city and the county and others to make sure that we are allocating these funds to address these long-term gaps and the impact specifically of COVID-19 in North Omaha and South Omaha as well. But tomorrow is an opportunity for us to highlight the progress, what the gaps are, and the need for additional funding to take, the key word is scale. We need to take solutions to scale, evidence-based, proven initiatives that we have worked on collectively for 15 years. Let's take these to scale by investing at the level that needs to happen.
And you said some key words that really resonates with me. Investment and taking it to scale. So now, when you think about, I want you to really elaborate a little bit more. You said that the federal government, their intentions is really to put these dollars where they're most needed. Now, you said in terms of North Omaha, there's about 25, is that?
Census tracts.
Census
25
tracts.
qualified census tracts. If you look at the entire state of Nebraska, there's 25 in North Omaha, I think 11 in South Omaha, about 12 in Lincoln, and there's a few other counties that have maybe one or two across the state. But a large, significant number of those census tracts that are disproportionately impacted by COVID and also long-term economic impacts. That's where these dollars should be focused.
So now, so really, that's not something. That's not Willie Barney's opinion. That's written. That's fact. That's factual data that you're speaking.
Yeah, it's written in the law, Tim.
It's written in the law.
It's why Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Wayne have really zeroed in on and have been reinforced that this is exactly their plan, is how these funds should be utilized. And it's for North Omaha, it's South Omaha, and those pockets across the state as well.
Yeah.
But really the largest, by far the largest numbers in North Omaha.
Yeah. So I think what you're talking about, Willie, it seems to me that it's common sense and it's very obvious when you think about, and when you look at the scientific data, it shows too where, who's going to be most affected by any type of tragedy, any type of pandemic, usually your most vulnerable populations is poverty stricken areas. And so how, in your mind, how do we get the attention that's really needed? I know today we got this kind of state of North Omaha, but really, if folks are out there listening, the powers that be, the mayor, the governor, the city politicians, and folks of influence, and really just people that want to help and care about North Omaha, what would you say to them that, it's our time. It's our time. What I'm hearing on the streets is, it's time. And I'm serious. What I'm hearing is, and it may be a little small whisper, but it's still a whisper. And they're saying it's time for North Omaha to win, and win big.
And the critical thing about that, Tim, is when North Omaha wins, the whole city wins, the region wins, the state wins. There are studies by MAPA and by the Policy Link that show that when North and South Omaha win, and we become more equitable cities where opportunities are shared across the region, and African Americans, people of color, that they all benefit, it will increase the economic activity in this region by $4 billion. So when North Omaha wins, everybody wins.
So we
have the opportunity to increase economic activity. I want to reinforce, though, this is the time. The state, the city, the county have the opportunity to be a part of something historic and show the rest of the country that this is what we're doing. When we say it's the good life, we want to make it the good life and the great life for everyone, people of all colors from across the state, and specifically in these areas that have been really neglected and disinvested for decades. So there's some good things going. The other thing is these dollars are to support and grow and expand evidence-based, results-oriented initiatives.
Evidence-based
years of collective work, and that's where we can show that we can make it happen.
We're going to take a break, Willie, and I really want you to, and when we come back, really to expound on this really in terms of evidence-based, because people see this big pot of money, and everybody, if they didn't have a not-for-profit, they're creating one, or they're starting these new programs, new initiatives. And I really want you to home in on this whole thing of evidence-based. What does that really mean for people out there that's checking this out? Hey, right on. So when we come back, let's talk with our guests about really this evidence-based, what we need to do in terms of supporting really projects that's been proven. They've been around, they've been doing the work. So stay with me, and we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Heartland Focus. My guest, Willie Barney with Empowerment Network. Man, thank you. Let's jump right in. This morning we have the state of North Omaha, and really when you think about a summit, not only are you bringing to the table what you said in the first segment in terms of just they're reporting out what they've done, and they're also reporting what they're about to do.
Absolutely.
And that's a beautiful thing. But back to these dollars, because I don't want to miss this. Basically what you laid out, you said in terms of 25 census tracts in terms of most need area in North Omaha, then in South Omaha. That's the law in terms of where the dollars should be moving to is your most areas that have high need. And so when you think about, and I think you said it specified in there proof of concept or proven.
Yes.
Proven projects. Talk a little bit about that a little bit.
Yeah, because they're one-time investments. So that what they can do is help accelerate successful programs and projects that can make a measurable impact in disproportionately economically impacted areas. So it's tailor-made for areas like North Omaha, South Omaha, and other census tracts around. We don't want to forget there are other areas around the state, but they're much smaller. And so how do we make sure that a proportional amount of the funding is allocated to those areas of need, then based on programs? For example, youth employment. We know that when our youth are employed and proactive and getting engaged in career exploration and robotics and construction, that they're less likely to be involved in negative activities. So that's how we collectively, working with police, with the neighborhoods, with community agencies, reduce gun violence by 74 to 80%, a 4-year low regarding homicides in 2016 to 2019 before COVID impacted us. COVID has impacted that area, but we were able to show by working together, we can reduce that. The graduation rate going from 64% to 80%, collective work done by the school district, community partners, after school programs. The evidence is showing us that we can move the dial when we have collaboration and strategic influence and investment at scale. What we have challenged people to do with the transformation plan and what Senators Wayne and McKinney and others are doing is to let's take these investments to scale, because if we can reduce gun violence by 74% with collaboration, why can't we reduce it even more?
Right.
If we can increase graduation rates up to 80%, why can't we hit 90 and 95% in these areas? And the other one is unemployment. We were able to go from 20% unemployment down to 7%, but that's still too high when you have a state that's at 1.8%.
Right.
So it can help, Tim. These investments can go into programs, initiatives, and organizations that have been doing the work and generating results.
And I love that. And shame on us if we do not direct the resources, especially in terms of organizations that's been doing the work and have positive results. My question, Willie, and you know, you're politically savvy young man, but do you feel that we have political will to do the right thing? You said this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and now so much is dependent upon political will.
Absolutely.
What talk to me about that, man?
Yeah, I tell you, 2 years ago, right after the pandemic started and right after George Floyd, there were meetings and people coming together and large group meetings and small group meetings. Pledges were made across the country by corporate organizations and businesses and elected officials that this is the time to address this. This has been centuries in the making, and specifically the last 50 years since Dr. King, the conversation about employment, education, entrepreneurship, improving housing. A.V. Sorensen talked about it. Dr. King talked about it. The Kerner Commission talked about it. And it outlined that in order to truly address these gaps, there has to be a sizable investment at scale to address it and sustained over time, and we can get it done. Omaha has the opportunity, Tim, because of where we are and the economic status here. We have the opportunity to do what most other cities have not been able to do, is to fulfill. We just celebrated Dr. King's birthday. We just celebrated his work. Dr. King said, we have to take this at scale. And that's where we have the opportunity. It impacts North Omaha, South Omaha, the region of Omaha, the entire state. And we have the opportunity, when we do what's right and do what is economically right as well, morally and economically, we can be the example for the nation.
Absolutely.
And what Sorensen talked about is, do we have the will? 2 years ago,
that's my
leaders
question.
said,
Do we have the
we
will?
have the will. So now it's the calling time. It's to call it in and show
Stop talking
by investing in these areas to accomplish what we know we can all accomplish.
And it takes deep and real investments to get this done. So what are you hoping really to walk away with tomorrow? As far as just, if you would say there's 4 areas that when you think about North Omaha particularly, of how we're gonna get up and get out and really move to a place where we're not just surviving, but we're starting to thrive, and we're starting to see the new 21st century renaissance that once was in North Omaha. How do we get back there, and what's those maybe 3 areas that we really got to put sight on and focus on and be very intentional?
This plan, Tim, is a pro-business, pro-wealth development strategy. It's focused on employment, entrepreneurship, and improving through revitalization, tourism. So bringing those areas together, but it's about wealth and ownership and creating self-sufficiency in a community that can drive its own destiny in partnership with the region. There are great things in the city of Omaha, great things in the state. And what we've always said is, let's make sure that that is extended to every zip code, every census tract in the city. That's where we have the greatest opportunity. And so tomorrow, we have the opportunity to say, here's how resilient the community has been through this pandemic, and there's still more work to do. Secondly, let's focus on building wealth and ownership where the community can drive its own destiny. And third, we're able to do collaboration and alignment and invest at scale. It's possible, it's doable. We have the track record. We have the data that shows, documented by UNO and Creighton University and the Obama Foundation and others looking. The data shows that it's possible, but it takes investment at scale. So tomorrow, we have a united plan, a united front with the transformation plan that has been incorporated into what Senator Wayne and Senator McKinney have done around that. Now it's time to push for that at the state level, county level, and city level. And this is the opportunity that's in front of us right now.
That's
this is
awesome.
What we've been waiting for. This is the opportunity to push and accelerate the pace of progress in North Omaha, South Omaha, and other areas that have been disadvantaged for decades.
And you said in terms of state, county, and city, because every single one of them have received allocations.
Yes.
And I think if we're not saying that they're not serious, not saying that they don't want to look at North Omaha and South Omaha, but I think there should be a time, or we should be at a time where they see it, it's been in front of them, and you just said the numbers and the data reflects that if you invest meaningfully in these areas, you're going to see the results. But I think, and I know education is a key, because I think you cannot move in those areas of wealth and home ownership and things like that if you don't have the jobs. If you don't have what we call H3s, high demand, high skill, and high wage. And that's where I know you're going to have Dr. Logan's going to be there. What's some other folks that's going to be there? I know a Metro Community College will be in the house. But we've got Urban League of Nebraska, housing,
entrepreneurship. You have entrepreneurship. To your point about the skills, that's another big critical point, Tim. I'm glad you said it, because there are open positions around the city and around the state that are not being filled. But one of the proposals is through Skill Up and Step Up is to help those residents get the skills to fill in those jobs, whether it's trade or construction or whatever it is. Drones, applied technology. There are a lot of positions that are open, and people need the opportunity, but they also need income while they're going through that training. So
that is so
job
key.
Training, certification programs, that will help us move the needle to allow people to move to that next level and fill those gaps, so we can add more people to the workforce that will positively impact the employers that are in the city and the state.
I tell you, and I'm not devaluing a 4-year or master or a doctoral degree at all, but I tell you, we are currently living in a skill-driven society, and people are paying for what you know, and that you have proven evidence that you have attained a skill. And so Metro Community College is in North Omaha. When you think about the investment and the opportunities that's in front of them, in front of us, I think this partnership is a must, because short-term and long-term certification programs, you're talking about an average of almost $45,000 to $50,000 coming out.
Yes.
Coming out. So,
absolutely.
Hey, we're going to take a short break, and I want you to kind of think about really the call to action. You know, Willie, as we come back, think about what people can do to help. Because you know what? North Omaha is Omaha. And as a community, as a city, we have to rally around how do we help in terms of our most challenged, economically challenged areas, and we lift together. And just because I live out west, or a person live in South Omaha, Bellevue, man, what makes Omaha and the state of Nebraska good if we do good by poor people and people that are less fortunate. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, man, we're going to hear from Willie Barney in terms of what can you do to get in the game and help really in this effort to lift North Omaha, both economically, socially, and give it what it needs so it can too be a part of this place that we call the good life. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to our Heartland Focus. You guys, we're out of time. Willie, thank you so much, man, for taking the time. More importantly, thank you and your wife, Yolanda, for what you do to cause, and stimulate the direction that we need to help get us on track. So really, if you leave us with path forward, what's the hope, what's the charge in terms of the people, how do they get involved? You got about a minute and 30 seconds.
I would say, Tim, the first thing is to realize that we can do this. I think many times people have been under the understanding that we can't move the dial, we can't make a difference. We have results. We have, through collaboration, through a lot of collective work, shown that it's possible. And the next level is everyone doing their part. in the neighborhood, in the business, supporting the business
Right on.
community, being engaged, making sure you're reaching out to your elected officials, city, county, and state, federal level, and encouraging them to do what's right, morally, economically. It will benefit the entire region. Every single zip code in this city and across the state can be successful. That's where we need to be. Everybody has to do their part across the board, and encourage them. Reach out, letters, calls, stop in.
Right
it's
on.
time for us
Right
to move
on.
this forward.
Man, I got to leave it there. But so if folks want to tune in, give them your website real quick.
EmpowerOmaha.com. You can still register to be a part of the event today, EmpowerOmaha.com. And then also there'll be follow-up information on specific steps that you can take.
Right on. Thank you so much. Hey, that's all for this episode of Heartland Focus. Make today the beginning of your best day yet. Do what it takes. Take care of your health. It's the year of health and wellness. Let's go get it. Be good to yourself. Until next time, I will see you next time. I'm out.